Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hope it's clear to all of my colleagues in this body that rural America faces a myriad of challenges. Every day, members of the Congressional Western Caucus, of which I am very honored to be chairman of, and many partners throughout rural America are working to ensure that local communities across the country are heard in our nation's capital, right here, and that these challenges do not go unaddressed. For many in big cities and urban areas, I think it can be pretty easy to overlook our rural communities. But we truly are the backbone of our great country, and our challenges are not our challenges alone. Rather, they're reflective of the entire nation's challenges. Things like managing public lands and fulfilling the government's multi-purpose use doctrine, or supporting local economies and encouraging economic development, promoting critical infrastructure like roads and bridges and dams, ensuring a strong agricultural industry that feeds the world, and empowering the communities that we represent to embrace expanded domestic energy production and clean energy technologies. Our state, local, and private land managers, our conservation partners, small businesses, and local communities are eager to take the reins and make the improvements that we need, but they're consistently held back by bureaucratic red tape, delayed permitting processes that add years and millions of dollars in cost to projects, and outdated laws that don't take into account the best available science of modern technologies. Over and over again, I hear from my constituents in central Washington state, and also from community leaders from across the United States, that we need to get the federal government out of the way. That's why, throughout this month of March, the Congressional Western Caucus members are taking the opportunity to highlight why reforming our duplicative and burdensome permitting process is the key to unlocking rural America's potential. Madam Speaker, broken permitting systems negatively impact the progress that we could be making at nearly every step of the way. The National Environmental Protection Act, or what many refer to as NEPA, is one of the most egregious examples of a well-intentioned law turned into a bureaucratic nightmare for those of us who are working to improve the communities where we live, work, and farm. The Endangered Species Act is another. This landmark species protection law has become outdated, and it is now used as a weapon by serial litigators and misguided environmentalists who want nothing more than to sue and settle, wasting our limited government resources, which are stalling projects across the United States and disincentivizing investment in rural America. Both of these laws play an important role in protecting lands and waters and wildlife that we cherish throughout the West and across rural America. But because Congress has not been able to meaningfully reform them, they've actually begun to work against us. The ESA regulations can add decades to the permitting processes for forest management projects or projects that would help prevent catastrophic wildfires across the West. In my own home state of Washington, across the Pacific Northwest, the policy surrounding the northern spotted owl wreaked havoc on our forest industry, literally destroying local economies. Now our region experiences some of the worst wildfires in our nation's history. Madam Speaker, that is not a coincidence. Delays and roadblocks, and I intend to insert a pun there, Madam Speaker, that are caused by NEPA regulations, have slowed or completely stopped infrastructure projects like highway improvements or installation of new hydropower technologies that generate clean energy and provide increased fish passage. Just last week, our members met with Secretary of the Interior, former Secretary of the Interior, David Bernhardt, who worked within the Trump administration to streamline inefficiencies and cut the environmental review process from 4.5 years, if you can believe that, down to no more than 2. The Biden administration, of course, is now reversing this progress and bending to politically motivated interest groups at the expense of rural communities. It's clear to us in the Western Caucus that it's time for Congress to act. For decades, rural America has been kept in regulatory limbo at the mercy of each changing administration. Congress is a co-equal branch of government, and we should assert our authority to ensure that our communities have the certainty that they need to move forward on these critical projects. Our rural communities deserve the investment and the development that is disincentivized by our broken permitting processes. I know we have Western Caucus members here today who will help shed some light on some of these examples in their home districts, in their states. And we will continue to demonstrate the harmful impacts of the status quo and outline our vision for a future that empowers rural Americans to tackle our challenges head-on.